When you get a new puppy, it's really tempting to want to take them on a walk around the block, but your puppy's just not ready for that. So today we're talking about leash walking. I'm going to teach you how to get started, what kind of equipment to use, and what it looks like for the first few months. I'm Amy from Baxter and Bella, the online puppy school. I have an online program for basic, intermediate, advanced, as well as a junior course to teach your kids how to train the dog. We have a lot of curriculum online just for you and your family. Our whole goal is to get you to be able to train your own dog from home. I also do the puppy training podcast. So if you are into podcasts and want to listen to those, check that one out. And then see the link below to get to my website. Today we're talking about leash walking. I have cute little Maggie here. She's a Labradoodle, and we are going to show you what it looks like with a new dog getting started with leash training. When we start leash walking, we actually start inside. So setting your dog up for success means finding a room that they're already used to. So she's comfortable in here, and I'm going to just teach her how to follow me. I don't want to start out on a sidewalk. It's too hard. There's grass on both sides or a street on one side, which is super distracting. I also don't really want to start outside just because there's so many distractions. Leaves, birds, sticks, you know, you have a puppy. So we're going to start inside this room, Maggie, and we're just going to get her used to following me. So I'll start walking around, Maggie. And anytime she comes up with me or follows me, I just give her a little treat. And then I'll start walking, and as she follows me, I feed her a little treat. So really step one is just teaching your dog, Maggie, that leash walking is about following me. Oftentimes when we put our dog on a street or a sidewalk, they see the pathway and they want to follow the pathway. We want them to follow us. So picking an area to walk in is much better. So next, let's talk about equipment. I start all of my puppies on just a regular flat collar or a harness. You can see Miss Maggie here is wearing a pink harness, and I've clipped the leash right to the front of her. So you can see the leash is clipped here on the front, not on the back. About leashes, there's several different types you can get. This one is just a simple, short, 4 to 6 foot leash. The lighter weight, the better for puppies. And you're just going to use high value rewards to get them to focus on the treat, not this leash that's attached to them. See how she could care less that there's a leash attached to her? That's important for success with leash walking. Other types of leashes include, this one's Baxter's, it's a 10-foot leash. This is nice for go sniff walks. It's a little more distance, so we can walk and then he can have a little go sniff break, and then we can walk and he can have a go sniff break. So a 10-foot leash is nice. I also have long lines. So this is a 20-foot leash, and this is more of like an off-leash type recall practice type of walk. So definitely a go sniff at the park walk. It's more relaxing. The dog doesn't need to stay right by my side, but I'm constantly recalling them back to me to practice them listening and paying attention, and then releasing them to go sniff. So you'll want a couple different options, but for a brand new dog, new to leash walking, again, we just want a regular flat collar or a body harness. We're going to clip the leash to the front of that harness. So before you begin leash walking, it's important that you have motivation. If your dog's not interested in what you have, leash walking will not go well. So I just like to put a little treat in front of my dog's nose and see if she's willing to follow it. And Maggie is very willing to follow this treat, so I know that we're ready to work. Then we just start walking. I'm going to take a step, treat, 2 steps, treat, 3 steps, treat, and it looks a little like this. Maggie. So she's following me really nicely, and I like that. Occasionally I'll stop, and I like to get my dogs to sit while we wait. And then I practice even having a conversation elsewhere, like I'm talking to someone else. I'm not paying attention to my dog, and that way they learn to just chill when we stop. Are you ready? Let's go. We'll walk around this way. Maggie, let's go. Another tip for you would be to feed with the hand that's by your puppy. So if I feed across my body, they're tempted to walk in front of me, and that can be a little awkward. So if I can feed my rewards, good girl, feed my rewards with the same hand as the side my dog is on, it will go a little better. If you go to feed your puppy a treat and they're jumping or getting you with their teeth, simply pull your hand back, wait for them to calm down, and then slowly lower your hand and wait for them to lick that treat. I'm using an open palm to feed them. So I'm holding the treat like this, not like this. And then as I feed them, if I feel their tongue, I'll release that treat. If I feel teeth, or if she gets too excited as we're walking, then I'm going to just kind of wait until she calms down to feed her. and then we keep moving as we feed, if she can handle it. But if she starts to bite, then you can just pull your treat hand back, wait for her to take it nicely, and then feed her. Leash walking is something that takes time. I like to relate this to an elementary kid, like a kindergartner learning calculus. Walking a puppy around a block or on any kind of destination walk is something that they're just not quite ready for, but they'll get there. So in this video, we introduced you to leash walking. Watch out for our next video on more advanced leash walking if you feel like you are at that stage. But plan on spending a good several months just here in what we did today.